family and friends. Good morning to all my subscribers and viewers. I want to thank everyone for subscribing. Didn't even expect to hit over 100, but I did. Thank you for that. There's a lot of activity on my videos, which I thank you for that too. I got an animal in my shop, so we're going to be looking for that. I got to take care of this right now. I'm at the end of my rope with this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and make all my stuff that I need to do. I use this for loops on my eyelets for my tarps and stuff, and I use obviously this for paracord for bridge lines and other lines. But I am going to make a ridge line, and then I'm going to have 10 10-foot sections off of that just to throw in my pack, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I'm also putting this back on my LBE because I can't not have all my military stuff in the same place. So another wonderful OCD moment. So the way I measure is I use my wingspan. So my wingspan is 5 foot 2 inches. The other way measurement that you do is take this guy off. I was going to come in like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, boys and girls. But no, I'm not doing that. So from tip of your finger to the middle of your elbow, and mine is 16 inches, so that's how long I keep my loops. I also make my prusik knots the same length as that. So get to know your wingspan. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Just get to know your wingspan. So the other thing I do is I typically have something burning. Candle. Come on, this is 99% alcohol. It should burn. Candle or something, because I don't cut ropes like a normal person. So this is my lead in, this is my trailing in. So basically I'm going to make a bowline. Some people call it bow line. Depends, I guess, what you were taught and what part of the country you're from. I try to speak American English, so I really haven't been, I didn't grow up anywhere but the States. I mean, I spent a lot of time overseas, but in my formative years, I grew up around DC, just because where my father worked. And so there's one. Again, tie bowline. And I do these very, very easy. So I make a loop. Take the leading end, make a loop. Take the leading end, go up through the loop, around the trailing end, and grab the loop that you made. I think I just messed up. Yeah, I did. Grab the loop that you just made and go right through that loop again. So loop, go up through the loop, around the leading or the trailing end, into that loop you made, and you have a bowline. Okay, a little large for me, but the way I learned it in the Boy Scouts was the rabbit. This is the rabbit. after you make your loop, goes out of the hole around the tree and back in the hole. So the further you put it into the hole on the left side of your loop, the smaller your loop's going to be. And I like them small because I like to stick my thumb through there, measure 5 feet or 10 feet. I want to make a few different sizes. I know I said I prefer 10 feet, but I do want to make 4 to 6 5-foot ones. So basically, I sear both sides of the paracord at the same time. And I just keep doing this. So you see, this is the loop. If I pull it all the way to the one side, my loop is smaller. Yep. See, that's why I was doing 5-footers on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this the way it is. So now that I get my cords, I want to wrap them up. Stick it through my thumb. Wrap it up, alternate between your pinky and your thumb. Keep your hand like a science fiction guy would shake hands. All right, once you get enough cordage, you want to wrap it up the same way it's going. You want to make sure that you get your cord in there, and then you basically want to stick your thumb underneath there, tuck it in. Why do you do that? Because if you tied it up correctly, you can just pull. So it's a quick deployment. And that's what you want. And that's why, one of the reasons I just threw that paracord in there, because I didn't have enough time to make these. For my pack. So I'm going to make the rest of these. So the other thing you could use, which you should keep at least one of these with you, is a tea light. It doesn't take much. You could actually use this with paracord. Like, this needs to be replaced. You can use it with your paracord to start a fire. I've had this on here for 20-some years. 30, 40, let's see, 1988. This has been on here, and obviously I've cut it. It just needs to be replaced. It wasn't big on knots, so I just put a couple loops in there. But it served its purpose. Like I said, this is going back on my LBE. This is going to be replaced, just simply because I want it back on there. I tried to dye it black at one point and ended up just taping it on there. So I'm going to take my new cord. Now I still have 50 feet in my LBE uncut. I like to keep some uncut, even though we could tie it together, just because you never know when you're going to need that length instead of the hanks that I'm making right now. So I've got 2 5-foot, and this is about a 9-foot. So now I still have to make 10 of these for my my pack here. But ridge line is also important. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my bowline in here, and you know, self-reliance outfitters, outfitters, and you know, what do you call it, the Pathfinder school, they say 20 feet. David Canterbury breaks it down to 20 foot of a ridge line, and then 7 or 6 or 7 of, you know, your 10-foot section or 8-foot sections. That's what it is. And then you have 2 foot left over for whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. but it's also preference. 15, 20. I'm going 25 because I can, and where I have to put this ridge line up for my hammock, or my tent that goes over my hammock, is mostly longer than 20 feet. Ah, no, Mr. Bill. So once you do that, just tie a jam knot in the back. Now, the other thing you're going to do with your ridge line, always try to get it close up. So you got your jam knot in there. All it is a knot. So the other thing on this side, what you're going to want to do is take a little bit of a smaller cord, you know, like I'm using bank line. You know, this may not be the bank line they suggest because it's not waxy like they suggest. I'm going to tie a loop in it. Also, if you have a candle and you're doing a bunch of this, you're going to save the blade on your knife. All you do is tie a loop in it. Very easy. Put this around there. Take your loop or your tied in, put it through your loop, and then you're going to do this 3 times. And you're going to do 2 to 3 of these, and then you're going to keep it tight. You're going to tighten it up after the 3rd one. Make sure all your loops are in order, they're not crossed. And that's what you're going to use. When you pull this tight, you can't pull it. That's what you're going to use to tie up your tent. So I'm going to make 3 of these. If I can. You know, I haven't seen anybody else just use a candle to do this, but I'm sure people have. They just haven't documented it. Or I haven't seen it, you know. I have not been through the end of the internet yet. So, but like I said, this is my preference. This is what I do. Somebody else may do it differently. You know, that's their preference. There's no right or wrong answer when you're preparing, you know, unless you're doing it totally wrong, which if you're doing it wrong, you're going to find out when the stuff hits the fan. And once I get this ridge line pulled and it's got my prusik knots on there, it'll be a lot easier to straighten out. New ringtone from my phone. A10. Let's either probably the War Department inside needing something. So I have that, and then the same way to tie it up. Alternate thumb and finger, pinky finger. put a few more in this one than the rest. So that's my hide under ridge line. And again, once you do, if you set up 10 of these 10-foot sections, and you tie a bowline 10 times, you're going to get very, very used to it. And leave and come back. I'm a caretaker for my wife, so she's very supportive of my hobby, which my hobby is to help people. So that's why I do this stuff. I mean, this is not a life hack like I normally do or have been doing. Trying to save money with energy and stuff, because you never know if you're going to be hit with rolling blackouts, and guaranteed some people would die if they didn't have AC. More people would die if they didn't have heat. So, you know, these little heaters that I'm attempting to build, I actually was able to increase temperature in a room, 10 by 8 room, or no, 10 by 18 room, about 2 degrees, which basically took the chill off of it. So if you do end up where you need to confine yourself to a room, pick the smallest room. Let's just say your heat goes out. Pick the smallest room. Use candles. Use whatever you feel. If you don't like the heaters I build, that's fine too. I don't, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Find a way to heat the room, or you can actually, if you have a tent, you could build a tent inside the room and use your body heat to stay warm. Don't forget about your animals, because they need to stay warm too. Now these that I made with the old roll, I'm going to put into my haversack simply because that's where the paracord came out of. That's what I use all the time. And this could go back in my haversack, but it's just extra right now, whatever I have left over. So you just want to make sure that you always have enough paracord. I've got my boots here simply because I'm going to replace your shoestrings with paracord, and you should do that on all of your boots. Anything that you could be stuck out, you either have your EDC, your everyday carry with you, and most people carry everything on them. I do as well. There's certain things I can't bring into the facility I work in, so I keep them in my car. Now I have my everyday carry, which has one item that none of my other packs have, and that's this. I call it a 4-way because it's a 4-way wrench for commercial faucets. So if you are out and about and you need to get some water and you can't get water because you can't get the spigot open, suggest you buy one of those for $10. I actually have my everyday carry with me. It's this. The main thing I use every day is my medicine. So I've got medicine in there for all year, allergies, colds, potential colds I can. So if I start feeling like I'm getting a cold, I take Zicam, and it either shortens the length of the cold or it makes the cold not come at all. So I would consider making a similar kit. I mean, you could even put it in a fanny pack and leave it in your car. I just happen to carry a backpack because, you know, I've got all my liquids with me. I carry a 40 ounce. I carry a 24 ounce. Normally I have Gatorade in both of those, and then I have a water bottle because I do have water at work. So I drink probably in between 60 and 90 ounces of water just while I'm at work. Of course, I walk 7 to 10 miles a day while I'm at work. I keep wanting to wrap all these up first. You see, I'm using less of my lighter. Just blew that thing out. That's what's good about the oil or the alcohol burners that I make. They don't go out as easy. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I actually tested my camera battery this time because I noticed with this camera that since they're 4K, the files are bigger, so I can get less on there at a time. My old camera, I could probably go 3 days of recording before I had to empty the memory card, the SD card. This one is a little different. Did it again. But you're gonna, why does it keep going out? Hey. This one ain't gonna go out. Maybe. But I'm saving my lighters doing it this way. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I have my ridge line until I get to 10. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these. Do I need that many? Probably not, but they're going to go in my pack. Now, I want to clean up a little bit here from making my ridge lines and my other lines that I need. And go to something else that a lot of people don't prepare for. These are my work boots. I got a new pair. So what I typically do with my old pair is I take them for the outdoors. I keep them very comfortable. I just happen to put a copper fit insole in it, and you know, walking 10 miles on concrete every night really doesn't do well for your heels unless you know how to take care of them. So here's what I'm going to do. Unwrap that. All I'm going to do is take the length of the shoestring, compare the length, and make me a new shoestring. Now, why would you want to do this? If you run out of paracord in the field, can always use your boot laces. You could take the inner strands out, use those, and still put the outer back into your boot. It's a trick that I didn't learn in bushcrafting. I learned that in the military. All of my boots had paracord in it. Because I deployed a lot, nobody said anything, because in the Air Force it's all about how you look. Form, fit, and function, yeah, maybe, but it was all about appearance, especially in different countries. They don't want us looking like duffel bags. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to heat it up just a little bit to put a point on it. And no, I don't have a whole lot of feeling in my fingers, so use gloves. Felt that one. But you don't want a ball on there. I'll try doing this with a lighter. We're gonna do as I say and not as I do type of thing. I did get a new pair of leather gloves. Finally broke down and bought one. And basically what you're gonna do is replace your laces. Now, I get new boots at work, and I don't really need them, so I kind of save them. Oh, you looked at, you probably saw in the background my next project, or the project I'm working on. In our men's group for one of the churches I go to, we talk about being medics. So we're always looking to save people. And great group. You know, not for people with normal work hours, that's for sure, because it's harder to go to work at 7 o'clock when you're having a meeting. But we're all medics, and sometimes during the summer, the spring, summer, I'll ride my motorcycle, and the next time I ride my motorcycle, I'm going to be wearing a medic helmet that I converted one of my helmets that had a big scrape on it from it dropping off after I got gas. I had it sitting on the peg, and the chin strap went down and scraped my helmet, which, being OCD, guess what I did? Bought a new helmet. Because scrapes on a helmet is not good. I took it apart, inspected it for cracks, and it doesn't have any cracks, so I'm basically sanding it down enough to get the finish off, and I am going to, what did I do here? And repaint it and put a new clear coat on it. So there you go. I'll lace up the other ones, I'll lace up these, and now I have extra paracord, and it's at least 5 feet there, and it's probably 6.5 feet of paracord extra. So always be thinking about that. The other thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to burn this and do a video on flint and steel. I've seen it done, so I've never tried it, and I'm going to try it. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Train, Always be nice to everyone. You never know. You know, in my world, Jesus could be anybody walking around the corner. You know, you meet around the corner. Always, always take care of other people, man. You know, God gave us this planet, and we're not taking care of it. We could at least be civil to the people that we meet. Anyway, catch you on the flip side.